Hey everyone, welcome back to the Seven Deadly Sins series that we're doing. And today we're going to be talking about envy. And yeah, so before we start, I just thought it would be a good idea to let you know what the difference is between envy and jealousy, because there is a difference, although they can be thought of as being one and the same, two sides of the same coin, which they kind of are. There is a small difference. So, envy is basically you coveting someone else's possessions, you wanting what someone else has. And jealousy, on the other hand, is actually you having something and you're actually fearful. It's that feeling of fear that someone else is going to take away what you already have. So, what is envy? Well, envy can be thought of as a feeling of being discontented and or even resentful, like a resentful longing that is brought on by someone else's possessions, their qualities, or even their luck. And what makes us feel like someone has the perfect life. That's essentially what envy is. And when this happens, we start to model our lives after these people. We start to think of ourselves as less, and we think other people have these perfect lives. And obviously, this is a problem because when you start modeling your life after someone else, you following their blueprints instead of your own, and you're losing your path. God set a path out for you, and God set a path out for them. He didn't want you to go and follow someone else's path. He wants you to set your own. So essentially what we're doing what envy does anyway, is it makes us lose us. It makes us lose who we are. When we lose sight of what makes us us, we are actually losing sight of what makes us special. When we lose sight of what makes us special and we start drowning ourselves in our own perceived uselessness, and we're still modeling our lives after other people, what we're actually doing is, we're counting other people's blessings and we're losing sight of our own. And obviously this is a bad thing because we're all blessed in our own different ways. We all have our different gifts that make us who we are. I don't have the same gifts that you might have, and you might not have the same gifts that I have, which is why we can't, try and copy each other in how we live, because we are at the end of the day different people. And essentially what we're doing is we're not bettering ourselves. We're not bettering the gifts that we already have. We're not trying to reach our full potential. We're trying to reach someone else's full potential when we aren't even them. So I've got to ask, how does that even help us? And that's what envy does. When we want something that someone else has, be it anything, it's not a good thing, obviously. And no matter how you look at it, it's not sustainable, and it's really just not healthy. So basically, envy stops us from growing. And I think the big question we need to ask ourselves is, number one, how does it stop us from growing? And number two, how do we overcome this as people? Not for anyone else, but for ourselves. So, how does envy stop us from growing? Well, envy stops us from growing in that envy has a lot to do with ourselves. If not envy has a lot to do with who we are. And not this is not to be confused. I'm not saying, we are envy. We are not envy. But it has a lot to do with, what we believe. And when I say what we believe, I mean what we believe success is, what we believe beauty is, what we believe greatness is. We have all these templates in our head that we've built up, that we feel like we need to check all these boxes to be beautiful, to be great, to be successful. And that's where envy really finds roots. Proverbs 27 verse 4 says, "Anger is cruel and fury overwhelming, but who can stand before jealousy?" And in this case, we can use jealousy and envy. It's one of the same. And what this means is, we can always feel angry and overcome that. We can always feel these intense emotions. But when it comes to envy or jealousy, it's such a personal thing, because no one can actually make you feel envious or jealous. It's all things that are brought on by you, because you find yourself comparing yourself to this template that you have in your head, or comparing yourself to these lives that other people live. And that's the problem. So with that being said, and that being understood, how do we overcome envy? And what I want you to remember is, this is going to be a lifelong thing. This is not something that you just get over in a day. These are qualities, these are things that we have to constantly be working on as people, as Christians, to grow, because that's the only way. I don't think you ever be able to fully say that I'm never jealous or I'm never envious of anything. But with that being said, we still have to be able to overcome this feeling. And I found a few ways that I feel that might help everyone overcome this feeling of envy. And yeah, we're just going to talk about them now. So the first way that I found probably to be one of the best ways to overcome envy or jealousy is compassion. To be compassionate. Compassion is such a powerful thing in our lives, because, well, it helps you understand that everyone is struggling. It helps you understand that other people are going through things as well. And I'm not just talking people that are less fortunate than you. I'm talking about people that are more fortunate than you, or people that you may think are more fortunate than you. Everyone is fighting their own battles, be it their inner demons or, the harsh realities of life. Everyone is fighting something. And when we become compassionate, we find that we understand, we show concern for these people, for everyone that are struggling. And in so doing, we are able to see that maybe I shouldn't be envious of these people. Maybe I shouldn't be envious of the things that they have, because everything comes with a price. And in that, we also have to be compassionate towards ourselves. We need to understand that we feel pain, we feel a whole bunch of emotions, we suffer, and we need to take care of ourselves. And when we show compassion towards ourselves, we also find that we stop judging ourselves as harshly, because there's only one person that knows you the best, and that is you. And your best enemy, your best friend, or your worst enemy will always be you, because no one knows you as well as you do. And we often find that when it comes to the feeling of envy, that it has a lot to do with, judging yourself. It has a lot to do with self-worth. And to a certain degree, a lot of mental illnesses can stem from such a hectic emotion that is envy. And yeah, so the point I'm trying to make is envy in itself can be really, really combated. We can really fight against it if we show compassion. So basically, don't look down on yourself. It's that simple. Don't look down on yourself. Number 2, the next thing I found that really helps trying to change your mindsets when it comes to overcoming envy is being grateful. Being grateful has this amazing effect on people where we just start valuing so much in life. And when you are grateful, it is really hard to be jealous or envious because they really are just the opposites of each other. And I'll give you an example. When you watch the Paralympics and you see people with no arms or no legs, or people shooting bow and arrows, doing archery with their feet, it's really hard to be jealous of them. If anything, you're just like, wow, I'm really grateful for the fact that I do have arms, I do have legs, I do have skin, I have hair, I have family, I have friends, I have love, I have the ability to breathe without feeling pain, I have the ability to taste I have the ability to see. I have all these things that I take for granted. And when you stop taking these things for granted, when you are grateful for the things that you have in your life, it's really hard to then turn around and be like, I am envious, I want what you have. And that's the whole point of this, is to focus on your own gifts. Because being envious means you focusing on other people's gifts, as I said before. And when we start focusing on our own gifts, we see the value in ourselves. And that's when we stop judging ourselves and we show compassion towards ourselves and we start loving ourselves. And that is such a crucial part in overcoming this feeling of envy. Finally, number 3, the last point. Basically, it's going to sound very, I don't know, hopefully it doesn't sound too philosophical and introspective and deep, but I want you to remember that when you feel envy, you are not envy. I think I said this earlier in the video, but you are not envy. The same way when you are angry, you yourself as an individual, you are not anger, you are not that emotion, you are feeling that emotion. So when we feel envious and we put on that mask of envy and we let envy show through our actions, what I want you to do is I want you to remember that you are not envy. You are not that thing that is so negative, It's just a mask. And when you take that mask off, we see that the real you is actually this compassionate, this loving, this grateful person. Because that's who we are as people. People are loving, people are caring. So, yeah, just remember to take off that mask. The minute you feel like you're putting it on, take it off. Because that's not who you are as a person. Ecclesiates 4 verse 4. As it reads, and I observed that all toil and all achievement spring from one person's envy for another. This too is meaningless as chasing the wind. So, in other words, when we are doing something, we must be motivated. We must be motivated when we do something, but we must not be motivated out of envy. We must not do things because we want what someone else has. That's not the point. The point is to do things for yourself. You know, as much as people can say it is a good motivation to get something or gain something, to beat someone else or achieve what someone else has achieved, it is not a stable foundation. It is not a reliable thing to base your work ethic on, because once you have achieved that thing, you literally have no other aspiration after that. Because you've achieved it, now what? So the whole point of this, to tie into this area, is that we are not envious. We are not envy. Therefore, we should not use envy as a motivation, because it is not sustainable. We do hard work for ourselves. That's why we should be working hard. That's why we should be doing the things we're doing. It's because that is who we are. And that's, I think that's where we basically end this. You know, self-belief is probably going to be your strongest weapon, one of your strongest weapons in life. And in overcoming envy, again, be compassionate, be grateful, and remember that you are not envy. Build up that inner strength. Build up that self-belief, because that is what's going to take you far, and not envy. Basing your achievements on other people's work, that's not going to work for you. It's short-term solutions, and we should not be thinking short-term here. And at the same time, that is not who Jesus wants us to be. We need to build up ourselves on love and all of those good things. So, with that being said, thanks again, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you for my next one. Hope you enjoy the series so far. And stay blessed, people. And remember, count your blessings, not others. You'll be okay.